Today, obviously, I'll be talking about Navisworks, both manage and simulate, and the new features that we have out this year. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be first doing a little introduction, just in case people don't know what Navisworks is. So Autodesk Navisworks is sometimes we like to call it the Switzerland of the Autodesk products, having the ability to bring in geometry from almost any source. So no matter what your authoring software is, whether it be AutoCAD, Revit, Inventor, we have the capabilities of bringing those that geometry together and aggregating it, essentially giving us the ability to do coordination and model review, as well as simulation. As I was mentioning, when we're working with Navisworks, we have the ability to bring in geometry from all over the place, whether it be Revit, AutoCAD, and more. So just basically giving us the ability to fly through the model in a much more efficient manner. Navisworks actually rasterizes the geometry, only rendering information that you need to see when you need to see it. So not only do we have the opportunity of reviewing our geometry from Revit and Inventor and AutoCAD, but we also have the ability to do clash detection, simulation, analysis, rendering, even cloud rendering, quantification. Anyway, that's essentially Navisworks in a nutshell. But what we're going to do is, in part of the demo, we'll jump in and we'll talk about the new features. So what are the new features? Having the ability to bring Navisworks models into AutoCAD 2016, which is pretty cool. A new list of product integration, third party, as well as enhancements to the regular Autodesk product. Having the ability to bring our models to BIM 360 Glue. And there's other things about hyperlinks and red lines and quantification. So let's just jump in. The first thing is about, the first item is about integration. So what do we have? We have the ability to bring in the latest version of design models and data and to be analyzed. So Navisworks has the updated file readers, exporters, and integrators, giving us the ability to support Vault and Recap and, of course, Revit. Now in MEP, more of the MEP elements are going to be available. I don't think there is actually anything else that hasn't been brought in, but fabrication hangars are now coming in. Surprise. Inventor. And in case you didn't know, having the ability to bring Recap point cloud data from Recap into Inventor through the Navisworks engine. Being able to export our designs to share with everybody has been enhanced. So from Max Design, Civil 3D, we're having the ability to create the files. So Navisworks can open directly Max Design as well as Civil 3D 2016, and Civil 3D can create its own Navisworks cache files. When I jump into the demo, we'll see, well, why don't we just go into it right now? So here we are in Navisworks, and we're at essentially the open screen. We're appending files. We have the ability to go over and open files from almost any source. So from this list, you could see the classic Navisworks files. The NWD is what I call the document or the deliverable. The NWF is the file set, and the NWC is the cache file. So when we say that there's going to be product integration and more ability for Navisworks to read formats, that means that Max will be able to create an NWC. Civil 3D will be able to be read and to export NWC files for Navisworks to, essentially an NWC is an optimized version of that file. Now you see there's always been 3D Studio, there's been laser formats, there's CATIA formats. So let's go back to the presentation for a moment. Well, here are the new formats, the Rhino, up to version 5, Adobe PDF, two-dimensional only, and let's jump over to the PowerPoint. So being able to create exporters from ArchiCAD to be read into Navisworks is pretty good for a lot of individuals. Obviously, the idea of having Navisworks is to give us the ability to read the formats from, no matter what authored software you're using, and brand new, the ability to read Rhino files. Now, PDF, I'm not going to get into a lot about the quantification features in Navisworks, but to be able to bring in PDF files, two-dimensional files, and collaborate them along with your model to do takeoff is pretty cool. If you want to talk about advanced PDF features, we can compare them or introduce them in Navisworks as well as Bluebeam, which we are a partner with. Now, one of the really cool things is Navisworks integration with BIM 360 Glue. BIM 360 Glue being the cloud destination for your model collaboration. BIM 360 Glue has always been called Navisworks Lite, so now we actually can collaborate along with Navisworks and share our models back up to Glue. So for instance, I'll be able to go in and grab my models from the cloud where all of the other project participants are viewing and marking up and collaborating with the project. I'll be able to open them from Glue and save them back. So I'll be able to append and merge models and send those back to be shared with the team. Ironically, the ability to open up models on the cloud have always been there. Like, let's go back to Navisworks for a minute. When I go in and open up, I have the ability to open directly models, open a URL, or actually go to the cloud. So opening a Navisworks project or compatible design file means that I'm going to be able to open a Revit file. I'm going to be able to open an AutoCAD file. I'm going to be able to open a Max file. Now I'll be able to actually open models that are on the cloud. Or, like I mentioned, this has been there forever, the ability to actually open an NWD, a deliverable file that's located on somebody's project server. So if I go open merge model, you'll see that I'll be able to go and scoot over. So what I'm going to do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Navisworks, open up a new session of Navisworks. And you'll see that I'll be able to actually open directly from BIM 360 Glue. Here's my project that I'm working on. I can open individual models and create a merge model, for instance. So in this case, I can open up individual pieces. I could upload a model from my authored software to the cloud and then be able to open it here and bring it and merge it into Navisworks. So for instance, what I did previously was I opened up a merge model, a model that already had a series of files. Maybe they were collaborated from, the engineer, the structural engineer, the architect. So those models are going to be loaded directly into my session locally. I'm going to be able to work on it with my full feature set here in Navisworks Manage, and then be able to publish those back. So rather than wait a second, let's continue with the PowerPoint. I already missed a couple of slides. Now, of course, when you're working with BIM 360 Glue, you actually have to have an account in order to use this feature. So if you aren't logged in with your Autodesk account and you don't have access to that feature, you're not going to be able to do that. So let's see. Oh, so I'm already in it. Here I am in Navisworks. I could scroll out, take a look at what's going on. And as I mentioned previously, I can append from the cloud. So this is the only individual model that I haven't appended to this file. I'll download it, bring it in. Of course, it doesn't fit in, but that's the whole idea. In Navisworks, I'll be able to select those files, modify those files. For instance, I'll take the entire site model. I'll adjust that model, move it around, reorient it however necessary. And then the idea is to be able to save that back as a new merge model in BIM 360 Glue. Okay? And as a kitchen show, I'll have something like this. So let's go back. If anybody has any questions about BIM 360 Glue, I've been working on it for quite a while. Be happy to help out. Now, being able to take your Navisworks models and put it back into production has always been a challenge. Ironically, there has been a number of ways to do that. So, for instance, if I'm in Navisworks and I'm looking at an AutoCAD model along with maybe a Revit model from this structural engineer and an electrical model from AutoCAD as well, in Navisworks, I can view that model and then bring it back using something called Switchback. But now, we can go right into AutoCAD. So here I am in AutoCAD. I have a two-dimensional floor plan, and what I've done is I've attached a coordination model. So you'll see that you have the feature right there to bring a coordination model, an NWC or an NWD, into your project. And of course, let's do the mechanical model, 0, 0, 0. And will it align? No, figures. So what you could do is you can align that model or align your project with that that project and actually do some modification right here, so you can update your project with the your partner's project, and live do your work, save that DWG, and even send the DWG to Glue using the BIM 360 Glue feature. So I'm working on my project. I've brought in models from the cloud, then I send it and glue it. And here I am back at BIM 360 Glue. So now we're in BIM 360 Glue, and you'll see that the files that I've added are here. And if I glue my DWG back to the project, it'll show up in BIM 360 Glue as well. It says there's the project. I'm going to take this DWG and I'm going to add it to the project after making modifications. And I'll get an email telling me when that file is ready. So having the ability to bring in the Navisworks model, I think is pretty interesting. But again, there are features there to assist so that everybody is on the same page. As I mentioned, there's quite a bit of quantification tools within Navisworks. If you're interested in using Navisworks for quantification, please give us a call. We'll tell you about the training that we can do and about the features that are available. But basically, having the ability to take those markups, right, that you're doing, you're changing colors of walls, you're doing areas, you're counting how many walls of this type I have, you're making those blue, you're making them red. You're going to be able to take those individual 2D sheets and print them right in Navisworks. From your analysis or from your review, you can also take the takeoff and the item catalog and report that as well. It's actually interesting. Navisworks in the past really wasn't much of a quantification tool, but with the integration of QTO into Navisworks, you're going to be able to do a lot of estimating, a lot of takeoff, both from your model as well as two-dimensional. I think the model takeoff is the more intelligent way of addressing quantification, being that all your geometry, now your geometry is generated in Revit. I'm going to be able to quantify all the individual objects. If you're really interested in doing two-dimensional quantification, again, take a look at Bluebeam, and we'll do a comparison between the features that you see here in Navisworks against the features that are available in Bluebeam. So now you're going to be able to manage the appearance of these 2D takeoffs, but going ahead and adjusting line thicknesses as well. So the first slide was about working with those markups and printing those. New enhancements are giving us the ability to achieve greater clarity on a complex sheet, clearer documentation, essentially giving the greater clarity and being able to improve on the process of documentation. It doesn't seem like a great feature, but I don't know how many times I've gone ahead and had to stop my workflow about creating views. As soon as you start the markup tool, a brand new view is going to be created that saves the view as a viewpoint and includes the markup as well. Now, this is something that I'll demo in the software, and it was getting quite annoying working with Navisworks. You're viewing your model, maybe you're slicing it up, and you have the ability, let's jump in, you have the ability to show hyperlinks. So when I initialize hyperlinks, you'll see that there's a series of hyperlinks in the model, and as I go through the model, they become available to me and allow me to bring into a better view. So for instance, there's a view that was called West. That's kind of a silly view. But let's take a look at what happens. They're all over the place. No matter what was cropped or the way my view was pointed in the past, I wouldn't be able to control those hyperlinks. So like for instance, if I'm in my view and I enable sectioning, I first have to go and select my section line and make modification to it. So here's the section plane as it goes through the model. You'll see that over on the left, where the model is sectioned, I don't see any hyperlinks. I know it sounds like well, why would there be if the model was sectioned? But this is something that was requested for many years, giving us an easier way to manage complex projects. This isn't the most complex project, obviously, but it has the now we're giving the ability to control the extent of the view. Now, having section boxes are pretty cool because we can have multiple section boxes that go through the model. So for instance, if I have that one's called a top. That's not a good name for the section view. And then we have in the front, I can actually go through and manipulate one section versus the other. So like if I turned on the bottom one, I'll be able to have one section coming from this way and another section box coming from that way, and be able to control the view, giving me the access to focus in on areas of the model that to improve clarity and focus on the problem or focus on the issue at hand. So when I'm in Navisworks and I'm adding and moving models together, I don't know if I showed the opportunity of creating additional merge models. So like for instance, if I'm bringing in files from outside and I'm merging those again to my project, we have the ability then to take this file and to save it out. So I'm going through and I'm making a new merge model with the MEP furniture floor plan. Nice. Love when I do that. Notice I can't leave it that way. So here's the new model being saved back up to the cloud. And when I jump over to the cloud, all I have to do is refresh this. And here's the new merge model. It doesn't yet have a preview, but it actually happens so quickly. I'm really impressed with the ability of pushing information back up. Of course, we have a pretty decent internet connection, but giving the ability to open and create new merge models and not having to do it externally from the software that you're comfortable with. So we're comfortable here within Navisworks, and we're giving us the ability to bring this information in. Now to be able to go ahead and create projects or merged scenes with all the individual disciplines, bring them together and have them push back out to the cloud. When you're in BIM 360 Glue, and let me maximize this. We're looking at all of our different projects within my account. This is the Microsol Resources Corp BIM 360 Glue site. We have the ability to go through and invite people. So I can go over to the the admin page, and it'll bring me to the BIM 360 Glue account, where I could see all of the individual members that are part of the project. So what we can do is essentially invite people. They can say, okay, well, here's my portion of the project. Maybe it's fire protection. As soon as I give them access and I give them, invite them, they log in and create their account, then they have access to contribute models. So there'll be more models on the project, one from the fire protection over here. And I could say, oh, great, there's a new fire protection model. I personally like to use Navisworks, so then I go down to Navisworks, append, and here I am with the new models that have been added. It's only showing me the new models. It's not showing me, files that I already have within my Navisworks scene. So it's kind of cool that I can go and I could bring in work from the other partners. And this is classic in that the project doesn't align. So what we're saying here is we can append all of our files here within the full Navisworks Manage. We can adjust and modify those individual files and then save it as a new merge model, with fire protection, for instance. Okay? So it's a great way to have all of the tools at your fingertips and then still be able to go through and share it with people who don't have Navisworks. Since we're here, we might as well do a little example of clash detection. So there are no clashes defined. I'll add a test, and we'll do mechanical duct work. So duct and fittings against structure. And we'll run the test. And this is obviously Navisworks 101, the ability to control, select pieces of the model to run clashes, either hard or clearance clashes, so that we can see, where we have collaboration issues. And it always seems to be ductwork going through steel in my experience. Now, of course, you can do these type of clash detection tests right in Navisworks as well. I mean, right in BIM 360 Glue as well. So, for instance, if I was in this project in Glue, I can do it there as well. When we're here in AutoCAD and we're going through and we're inserting files, right? So I'll just go to the external reference file. I'll append a file to my scene. Why don't I just remove that? And I'll do a couple examples. So this is the DWG, right? Somebody working on the furniture floor plan using the X-Reference tool, just like any of the other features, DWG, DGN, PDF, point clouds, we'll add a collaboration file. Now, this is looking locally. So this is taking the file from my hard drive and appending it to AutoCAD. And when I bring it in, here's the, classic attachment options. So, how is the file located? How is it, displayed? This is kind of cool, too, in that if I was appending an NWD, right, this is the bound Navisworks document, meaning an NWD is published from Navisworks, and it contains all of the links. And essentially, they're bound. So they're no longer referenced links, but they are, a combined NWD. If you had your DWG open and you were linking in the coordination model, it will not show your drawing from the coordination model. It will only show your live active DWG, which is pretty interesting. And obviously, we'll also zoom to the coordination model. So exactly the same problem. And I didn't want to hide it because this happens all the time. If your model isn't linked or isn't coordinated with the DWG, so all we have to do is, is align it and rotate it and move it. And then we know that we're in alignment with the coordination model. So that means that if this DWG was a 3D DWG, or really if it was a 2D DWG, it would be the same issue. If I adjusted my DWG origin to align with the coordination model, when I take that model to BIM 360 Glue, then we know it's going to align with the rest of the, the team collaborating. Okay. And, there's some new features which will allow us to see the clash results as well. So essentially, if I was in a scene like this, and I was working where I want to open up the file where this clash exists, I enable what's called switchback. So it gives me the opportunity to go ahead and view the exact project as it was created in Navisworks. So if this view was created showing me the mechanical and the structural file, I can actually go ahead and select the structural file and then switch back, bringing me into the authored software where I could see that actual clash and make modifications and then update it. So in AutoCAD, it's NW load. In Revit, it's Navisworks switchback. So it's going to give us the ability to say, okay, now Revit is ready and willing, or able to view this model or view this project within the actual authored software. So here I am looking at a particular file or a particular clash, and I'll be able to switch back, bringing me. Figures it was a non-Revit model, the one that I had selected. So essentially, what it'll do, it'll just bring me to the authored software, open up that file for me to work on. But now with the new features, we're having all kinds of different abilities to do that, to bring in information, to go ahead and find files that are. Let's see if it works that way. What? Anyway, if the file was opened as an RVT, then like if I appended an RVT to my Navisworks scene, and I was in that file, here's the RVT. Let's imagine, bang, I switch back. It opens up Revit and recreates this exact view. So I'm looking at the clash and being able to modify my Revit project to fix the clash or to resolve the clash. So here I am in a blank file, like an opening file, when you first start Navisworks. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to append a new file to it. And by default, because of my last sequence of events, it's going out to BIM 360. But you could see I can now say, well, I'll go locally. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a Revit project. So I'll just go all files. I'll open up an architectural Revit model, and because I'm in the latest version of Revit, Navisworks, I have the ability to open up an RVT. That was, I think that was a new feature either last year or the year before that, giving us a direct access to RVTs. I think one of the coolest things, and more and more people will like the ability to open up a Rhino file. I think that's pretty awesome.
I think it's worth mentioning also that if you do bring in a Revit file directly into Navisworks, that if you create a view called Navisworks inside of Revit, that's the view that it'll use to translate all the information into the NWC file.
Fantastic. Yeah, there are so many different ways that people like to combine models. My method has always been open the original authored software and use your your find items tool to collect and coordinate all the different items that you're interested in researching or clashing or aggregating. So for instance, find items, I'll go through find items and I'll say, well, give me all of the floors. So I'll be able to go to any project on Glue, open up that project and append multiple. So I can use Control to append multiple files to the scene. So for instance, if I open up mechanical and structure from the cloud, I bring it into Navisworks, I do my clash, I do my find items, I do my, set up my views, set up my animations, and then I'll be able to add more. I'll go out and get another model that's on the cloud and append it as well. So I'm really stressing out my system here. That's okay. So here's Navisworks. Currently, it's got mechanical structural, right? I could do my clash detection to find where mechanical hits structural, like everywhere. Right? And then I'll say, well, now I need to append the architectural component. And I'll just go ahead and append another file. And what we're basically doing is we're using all of the parties that may not have Navisworks. They're contributing their files. And then I'll be able to do a save as and make a new merge model and load it out to the cloud for everybody to review. Okay? and this guy is still opening up Revit. But as Steve mentioned, instead of opening it up flat out like that, getting every single component, if I were to organize it in Revit prior and create that Navisworks view, what it does is it, it turns off categories. Maybe there are even work sets that are turned off, and it gets a view ready for the idea of collaboration, and it just makes it a little bit more streamlined. I think that helps. If anybody has any other questions regarding that, feel free. You'll see that it brings over the views from the authored software. Like I mentioned, one of my things that I do probably the most, which is a little different than most people, I like to go ahead and have the entire model loaded, and then I'll do search sets. So I'll look through the model for things that are named or contain the name of duct, for instance, something just simple. Hopefully you'll find some value in these new features. Like I mentioned, there are some fantastic features in Navisworks that I don't think are utilized as much, and what Autodesk has done is it made those maybe hard to find or troublesome features a little bit more accessible, a little bit more streamlined. So please give us a call if you have any other questions or any other concerns regarding these tools and the collaboration, and we'll be happy to help out. Obviously, we've been using the Navisworks for many years. Matter of fact, we were Jetstream resellers prior to the Autodesk acquisition. So we know quite a bit about Navisworks, and we'll be happy to help if anybody has any other kind of questions or concerns, whether it's the workflows or any of the new features, or the possible caveats that people might have presumed exist. I think it's a fantastic tool, and we're happy to help out in any way we can.